They make 3,200 tons of gold. They make 25,000 tons of silver. That's only 8 times as much. Gold-silver ratio is not 8 to 1. It's 80 to 1. What else do you need to know? They don't make enough of it.
This is Kaiser Johnson with Liberty and Finance, and these are the Miles Franklin Weekly Specials for October 13th through October 20th, 2025, while supplies last. First this week, 100-ounce silver Engelhard bars are just $2.70 over spot per ounce. Next, backdated 1-ounce gold Britannia are only $75 over spot. Finally, BU pre-33 $20 gold St. Gaudens coins are just $85 over melt. To order our specials or any of the many other options we have available, call us at 1-888-81-LIBERTY. That's 1-888-815-4237. We're available after hours and on weekends, and we look forward to speaking with you.
Hey everyone, this is Elijah K. Johnson with Liberty and Finance. And back with us today is our good friend Clem Chambers from the website anewfn.com. Clem, thank you so much for joining us today.
Great to be back. Great to be on, as always.
Well, it's great to have you today, especially as we're seeing today silver break above the $53 mark and also gold 4,200. So I know you recently did a video on your YouTube channel, which I find is very fun to watch. You were pointing at how you've mentioned on this channel before, right, that gold is for war, right? That's a huge driver for gold right now. But there are other potential drivers as well. I think some people might be thinking, and I included, are wondering, well, why is gold running so fast now, right? It seems like a lot of these fundamentals have been here for years, but just now, gold and silver are running in the last 2 years, especially the last couple months, going kind of parabolic here. So what is your take on what are the main drivers right now?
Well, this is one of those questions which I love, because it's when the answer's in the question. You know, why now? Well, why now? That's the answer. Now is a setup which we haven't had. I mean, remember all those years ago, before Trump was elected the first time round, all he was talking about was China. That was his big big idea, that America was being surpassed by China. Well, here we are, 10 years later almost, and, China's gone on 10 years since those days. And it's still the big issue for Trump and his group, and in their mind for America, because America is used to and likes to be, and currently just about is, the global superpower, the one and only global superpower, a unipolar world with one superpower in it. Well, probably not unipolar anymore. It's two superpowers, and China has come a long way since then. And so there's this stress, because if you believe that America should be always, forever, amen, and blessed by God, the superpower and telling everybody what to do, you're going to get in a conflict with China. And the conflict with China is very, 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 very serious. I mean, it's beyond serious. It's as bad and potentially worse than the situation there was with the USSR before the wall came down, that Cold War, which had the atomic clock at 5 minutes to midnight. Well, we're going to be back there. And this time it's going to be with China. Now, when we had the original Cold War, Europe didn't get anything from Russia. No, I mean, caviar maybe, the occasional really nice camera. And what else? That was it. Well, now, America gets pretty much all its stuff, or rather, it can't make any stuff without getting stuff from China. I mean, I did in my last rant, I talked about 10-inch nails. At random, I just picked out, does America make 10-inch nails anymore? Well, the answer is there's about 4 companies that make 10-inch nails. And actually, they import the bits that they're making to nails from China. But let's just say they made that themselves. 4 small companies make nails. But the bulk of all the nails come out of Malaysia, out of Vietnam, and out of China. So you're looking at a country that can barely make 10-inch nails anymore. Can't make light bulbs anymore without inputs from China. What can America make without inputs from China? So if increasingly your industrial might depends on it being done by someone else. Well, that's fine if you don't mind that. But what happens if you want to tell those people, no, if you want to contain them? And they quite rightly refuse to be contained. And now they're making cars better than American cars, at a fraction of the price of American cars. Did you know America has banned Chinese cars? Did you know that? Ban them. No, can't import them. No, banned. Well, you can guess why. Because they're even better than European cars. And the whole of the American car industry will collapse if Chinese cars are allowed to be flooded into the market. Well, that's a trade war conflict. Well, how far away is that from going down from, the tertiary level or the secondary level of manufacturing and services into primary, i.e. land? How far away is that Cold War from a warm war or from a hot war? Yeah. Why now? Well, now it's because we've got a China-America conflict. It's a conflict. And you don't have to read much between the lines to see that it's a pretty serious conflict. And they are butting heads. And the whole market now is about this conflict. Two things, actually. Well, two things. This conflict, which is why the precious metals are going through the roof, and why other things connected to that are going through the roof, like Mountain Pass, like Intel, yeah. And two, artificial intelligence. Because hopefully let's forget that word for a minute, the conflict. And it won't just be between America and China, but let's just keep it to America and China. Will be fought over who's got the smartest AI. Because there is no second place in AI. If you're smarter than the opposition, then you're going to win. And if you're significantly smarter, we're going to outwit them, aren't you? And you outwit them, and they don't even know that you've outwitted them because you've outwitted them, haven't you? So the future conflict hopefully will go up a notch from manufacturing into tertiary and quaternary economic activity, which will be AI. If it goes downhill into secondary, basic secondary and primary, oh dear. And that's why your gold is going through the roof, because everybody's going, oh no, this will get really bad. And gold is the currency of international conflict. Governments transact in gold. Because ultimately, IMF, SDR rights and all that paper is worthless if it really gets bad. And people take payment in precious metals, and the precious metal of choice is gold. And that's why it's going vertical. And it is going vertical. It's just a question of how long is it going to go vertical for, not that it's going to continue.
A lot of people are asking that question right now. What is your outlook for gold and silver at the moment? As you mentioned, prices are going vertical. Do you anticipate some sort of a pullback coming soon?
Well, I hope so. I mean, I don't want to move to Chile. But, at a certain point, it's going to be a choice between, holding gold and going to Chile and holding gold, because you can't keep going up like this unless something really, really bad is going to happen. Really bad. And it's not just, say, the dollar losing half its value, which is not going to. I mean, gold is for war. And remember, when I came on your show first time round, and I said, gold is for war, and you looked at me and went, oh, yeah, well, yeah, what? How, inflation, the death of the dollar, all that old stuff. And I'm going, no, forget that. That's not going to happen. Gold is for war. Gold is what governments buy when they're preparing for the eventuality of conflict. And they're all doing it. And China in particular, funnily enough. Poland, funnily enough. Yeah. In fact, probably it's only America that isn't buying gold, and it should be. And, Britain should be buying gold, and it isn't. Because, they haven't woken up to it yet. They don't get it yet. They're not seeing what's coming. Otherwise, they'd be buying gold. Poland sees what's coming because they've got reason to be on edge and, walk on eggshells about their situation. So is China, because China's quite happy to carry on going along the line it's going along, because ultimately it becomes a superpower. well, it is almost a superpower now. And as long as the world leaves it alone to make all this stuff for it and continue to grind out its industrial base like it's been doing for, well, the best part of 40 years now, it's happy to do that because it ends up the leading superpower because it's the workshop of the world. Now, if you look at history, in conflicts, it's the workshop of the world that wins. Britain in the old days, America in the old days. Well, who's the workshop of the world now? China. Is it getting any less the workshop of the world? No, it's not. What is America trying to do? Reindustrialize. Why? Because if you're not the workshop of the world, you will not win a conflict. And if there's one coming, you're going to lose. So you have to be able to make ships. Oh, if you park a Chinese ship in an American port full of containers, the biggest container ship, they will bill you, I believe, roughly speaking, $7 million just for parking to unload. Why? Because a Chinese ship that has to pay $7 million every time it lands its containers might spark people coming to America and saying, hey, make us a ship, will you? This £7 million a pot, we don't like that. That means we have to put up our costs to up the people that we're shipping containers for. And that's not good. So we'll have one from you, can we? So what does China do? China says, hey, you put that tax on our ships so you can build your own. We'll put tax on your ships too. Well, why does America want to be able to make ships? Ask us on a postcard. Yeah, because that was one of the things it did in the Second World War that made the difference. Lots and lots and lots and lots of ships. Liberty ships. There we are. The name's in your title. You can't make Liberty ships anymore. It doesn't have that capacity. That infrastructure is gone. Like all the things they put big tariffs on, like steel. What do you need steel for? Ask us on a postcard. Tanks. Aluminium. Aeroplanes. Yeah? And the list goes on and on and on. Intel. Can't make chips. Where do we make chips? We make them in Taiwan. Ooh, that's not good news, is it? Where else? China? Oh, that's not good. How about in America? Intel. And? Intel. Yeah, but everyone hates Intel. Yeah, but they're the only one with fabs. How long does it take us to build some more? Ooh, 3 to 5 years. Ring up Intel and say hello. Yeah? And what about our rockets? Oh, they need rare earths, sir. Well, how rare is it? Well, not very rare. It all comes from China. Okay. How much can we stockpile? Well, none, sir. They won't sell it to us anymore. And if they will, they won't sell us enough to stockpile. So it really is rare earth then. Yeah. And what do we use it for? Well, all our military stuff. Oh, so we can't make military stuff? No. Without rare earth? No. Oh, well, ring up the Pentagon and tell them to buy the only people that make rare earth in America called Mountain Pass. Do it and do it now. That's all that's in the news, right? It's all about reindustrialization and rearmament, effectively. Now, I a long time ago, I said, look, as soon as, I can't remember his name, I can't pronounce, I'm not going to even try, the head of the Department of War, used to be defense, but now it's war. You want a hint? Anyway, when he went to Europe and said, you guys have got to sort out Putin, all the military companies, all the armament manufacturers, all the defense stocks in in Europe and in the UK, they all went vertical. Guess what happened to the American defense stocks? Nothing. So I said, watch out for those boys, because when you start to see them go, that will tell you something. Guess what Lockheed Martin's chart looks like now? That's why gold's going vertical.
It does seem like, I guess, what you're saying is gold is really signaling that something big is happening. And also you mentioned that America has this desperate need to reshore its industrial base because we don't produce anything anymore. In the event of a major conflict, China has so much power then over us in that regard because they make all of the critical items. Now, if we do reshore our industrial base, then that, as you've mentioned in the past, will cause massive inflation. So that's also kind of a driver of gold right now, isn't it?
Well, it is, but nothing like all the governments in the world stacking gold. I mean, in the old days, it'd be retail stacking gold because there's always a contingent of people that love gold and silver. There's always a contingent of, it's the end of the world brigade that wants to have a nice bucket of gold to fall back on. And there's a audience for gold. And Wall Street used to play that audience like a fiddle because he couldn't actually manufacture gold without digging any up because he can do paper gold and has done paper gold for a long, long time. So he can manipulate the market by, squeezing and opening the gold supply, the paper gold supply. And, it has over long periods of time suppressed gold. And when he can't suppress it anymore, gold starts to run. Well, actually, if you think about it, Wall Street cannot suppress governments buying gold. Just can't. Just can't hold down the gold price when countries are saying, give me another 10 tons. Give me another 20 tons. Yeah, ship it on a plane, will you? Can't be done. So they've had to get out of the way of that game, of market making with retail. Now it's buying gold for governments that they're doing, and there's a finite supply. And that's what's pushing the price. It's a different customer buying. That's why gold took off before silver took off, because silver is retail. Gold is what I call B2G, business to government, when the governments want to buy it. Well, it's going to drive the price. There's 3,200 tons made every year. And when you've got everybody going, oh dear, didn't like that press release coming out of America. Yeah, I think we need a few more tons of gold. And it's India, and it's Pakistan, and it's Saudi Arabia, and it's Dubai, and it's Poland, and it's France, and it's Germany. There's 100 and blah countries out there. And if any of them got any sense, they'd be stacking. And I think a lot of them are, and that's what's driving the price. Now, going back to our earlier idea. So we're going to reindustrialize America. Okay, they're going to print money, and that will be inflationary. But you're not looking at Weimar inflation. You're looking at 5, 6, 7%, which is a kind of level we've kind of got used to over the last few years. Now, so who's going to work in those factories? Now, it would be people that the Democrats would quite like to import, but they've shut the door on that. So you can't bring in a couple of million people to pick your apples and work in your sneaker factories because those gates have been shut. And that's probably why the Democrats wanted to let them all in, because they're seeing this coming too. And we've got to reindustrialize and build factories and put people in them. Now, what the Republicans are doing, or rather what Trump and his group are doing, how they're thinking, is it's going to be robots and automation. So you're going to have factories with nobody in it. And there are factories like that in China. And I had a late friend, who worked in a company that did that for factories. He provided factories that nobody worked in, or a few people worked in. And they had vending machines in that when a bit broke, because you have people that maintain the equipment. There's nobody, stuffing things in boxes. The equipment's doing that. But if things break, you go up to the vending machine and go, like you'd get a can of Coke out of the vending machine, and out would come your spigot or your widget, and they'd go fix a machine on it. And then the machine of widgets would be replaced by the company. So it was a factory or factories that tooled up the factory, but the thing that it did, that was basically humanless, didn't have any humans in it. And that's what they're thinking is going to be the reindustrialization of America. And guess what? So I'm thinking, there's an investment opportunity. People that make industrial robots, search. Oh, there's the biggest company, one of the big companies is called A&B, Swiss company. Okay, so I'm going, I need to buy stock in that company. Yeah. Someone just bought it. Someone bought this company last week. Guess who bought it? Not Elon Musk, but the next best thing. SoftBank bought it. SoftBank bought an industrial robot company, the biggest, or one of the biggest. And there's Mr. Son stood next to Donald Trump saying, yes, sir, AI, we're going to give you 100 billion to build AI, sir. Oh, what you didn't hear him say, oh, by the way, we're going to buy the biggest industrial robot company as well, because that will fit in with that, won't it? So all these things are coming together. Once you say gold is for war, why is gold going up? Because there's this conflict. What is the conflict? It's the conflict of America reindustrializing, because if it doesn't, it cannot keep China from becoming the dominant country. What does it need to do? It needs to start manufacturing. It needs to onshore. You get your tariffs from that. How are you going to put people in those factories? There ain't nobody going in those factories. You have to have robots. Oh, they're buying robots. Oh, they're making AI. Oh, they're boiling the oceans with AI. And up goes Lockheed Martin. And up goes gold.
You did mention how silver is kind of playing catch up right now, given that it is more a retail investment. And we have seen very strange market action in the silver market recently, with markets sort of seizing up with backwardation happening, meaning the futures price is actually lower than the spot price. So essentially people are wanting silver right now rather than having to wait for it. And usually it's reversed, because obviously there's carry costs if you're storing silver for a month or more, right? So your perspective on the current dynamics in the silver market?
Well, very simple. They make 3,200 tons of gold. They make 25,000 tons of silver. That's only 8 times as much. Gold-silver ratio is not 8 to 1. It's 80 to 1. What else do you need to know? They don't make enough of it.
It is crazy. And the simplest answers are the best ones, right? I mean, I think that gives our viewers a good perspective just to think about the mining ratio, right? And if it is 80 to 1 right now, think of the gains that silver could still have, even though we've doubled over the last couple of years here, and just, up, 20 or more percent in the last month. Silver could still have quite a ways to run. I mean, you've talked about triple digit silver. What is your outlook here?
You see, I like to buy at the bottom. And I wouldn't be buying silver now, because I would feel like I missed the boat. Okay. And I like to get the boat when it's in harbour. I don't like to swim out to it. I don't like to get my helicopter to land on the deck. I like to get it when it's sat there and everyone's saying that boat ain't ever going anywhere. That's my shape. And then when it gets going and I've made a load of money, I like to get out and never go back. That's my, I'm not, I'm not the sort of person that sells at 50 and then goes, oh, I've gone to 55, should I get in again? Ah! I would never do that. I would go, I made a nice profit, thank you very much, and goodbye. And I don't care what happens next. Well, if it triples, that kind of can be a little bit painful. I did quite well with Rolls Royce. I doubled my money in Rolls Royce and then it went up tenfold. And, you go, oh. But generally, I don't care. I like to buy very cheap and I like to sell out when it's somewhere in the middle. I don't see why it couldn't go to 100. I will be sweating blood at 70. I'll be waking up in the middle of the night going, oh, what should I do? And I will probably ease out at those levels. But, at the end of the day, it's all about, it's not about AI, it's about NS. And NS stands for natural stupidity. And there's a fairly large amount of it out there at the moment. And gold can go to $10,000 an ounce if there's enough natural stupidity. And silver can go to $100 an ounce, $200 an ounce, $400 an ounce if there's enough natural stupidity. And there's a lot of it out there. So when it gets to 70, I'll be just looking at what's coming out of various places and going, oh, did they really say that? Oh no, it's going up. It's like, I wrote an article about 9 months ago now, maybe even a year ago. And I said, gold is broken out. It's going to go to 3,500. And I mean, it could go more, but let's hope it doesn't go more, because that's really bad news. And now it's obviously 4,000. And I wrote an article later that said, the chart's looking at 5,000 now. And I don't like that one bit. I mean, what's the point of having good stocks if someone's going to drop a bomb on them? I mean, it's just really not good news. And of course, now it looks relatively obvious it's going to go to 5,000. But remember, all these markets, when they bubble, they go up like a rocket and down like a rock. I'm beautifully positioned. And the thing is, what I will probably do, if gold hit 5,000, if silver is at $75 or $80 an ounce, I would probably halve my positions and I'd probably roll them into platinum and palladium. Because platinum and palladium are sufficiently heavy, sufficiently vital. And if you go, gold is 3,200 tons a year, silver only 25,000 tons a year, platinum 200 tons, palladium 200 tons. And I was raving, like, I think on your show, when it was $800 and $900 an ounce, not $1,400 and $1,600 an ounce. But palladium was, I think, I'm not looking at a chart, so this has come out of my little pudding brain. Palladium was $3,200 an ounce only 3 or 4 years ago. Palladium and platinum used to be 1-to-1 with gold, and if you wind back into the 70s, at certain times it was 2-to-1 to gold. So platinum was twice the price of gold. That's $10,000 an ounce right now, or 8,000, whatever, 9,000. Who cares, you know? And they only make 200, and they're also metals that can operate like gold. Because the reason gold is international currency is that you can ship it in high value, and it's a given, and it's a known, and it's a purity, and it can be checked. And you can put, you know, $100 million a ton, yeah? And a ton's about that big. Yeah, so you can ship $1 billion in a truck. Yeah, and that makes it very convenient to transact in. If you wind back, take you back 500 years, okay? 500 years ago, you'd be having your wealth. Let's just say you had a bit of money, yeah? You'd have gold, and it would be in a chest. And in that chest, there'd be another chest, and you'd unlock that, and you'd put your gold in that, and you'd lock it, and then you've got the chest, and you'd have all your valuables in, like linen and all that stuff in the other chest. Or you'd have it in a pot, and you'd bury it somewhere in your foundation, because you know where it is, and if it ever burned down, you knew where it is, and if you ever had a runaway and they knocked your house down, you could come back and find it again. So it was in a cache, not cash, C-A-S-H, but C-A-C-H-E. It was in a cache, and it was capital. It was maybe for the biggest of transactions, but it's wealth for things like war, getting government money, or rich man's money, buying houses, land, that sort of transaction. Now, if you was going to go and buy a horse, you'd buy it in silver. So normal, everyday, big transactions was in silver. So your $100 bills are silver coins. And then you've got copper, little copper coins. And I had what, here we are. This is one of the French financial innovations from the 15th century. That is a little copper coin. And the peddlers weren't allowed them, only in France, as France was sophisticated. And they were allowed to have money. Goodness gracious. Small money, pocket money. And you put it in your pocket, and of course it falls out, and that's why people like me find it in the ground. And that was for buying a pint of beer or a chicken or eggs, right? So for everyday small transactions, copper. For everyday big transactions, silver. And for wealth and big, proper grown-up transactions, gold. Yeah? And today it's still the case. But of course, if you've got a metal of equivalent density, like platinum, like palladium, that's absolutely vital to what you do, it can also operate as gold. So there's no reason why it shouldn't have this. It can have the same use case as gold, and therefore, but they only make 200 tons of it. So there's no reason it can't be 1-to-1 with gold. Absolutely none.
I think a lot of people might look at palladium and platinum right now and compare it to gold and silver's rise and see it as still a bargain, as you mentioned, with platinum being, less than half of gold's price still. It could have a significant run from here.
3-to-1, right? It's a third. You get 3 ounces of platinum and palladium roughly for an ounce of gold. I mean, you get more than 2 anyway. And the American Mint actually makes them. They make platinum eagles. I got a platinum eagle somewhere. I just thought, oh, well, that's nice. I'll have that. And it's a nice thing. So it's nice. It's stackable, like a gold eagle. And it's really Now, the other thing about platinum, I've said this to a few people, and it's one of those things that every time I say it, I want to go away and check it. Like, I only make 200 tons of it. Obviously, America has sanctioned Russia up to the ears, right, for all the terrible things going on in Ukraine. So, oil, caviar, anything, wooden dolls, and wood, anything coming out of Russia is sanctioned. Apart from, one of the things that isn't sanctioned, and that's not many things, is platinum and palladium. Because Russia, South Africa, and America are the only 3 places they make it. And America can't do without it. So they're prepared to let that come into the global market without sanctions. So that's, what else do you need to know?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, where platinum is being mined and coming from are not, as you would say, politically stable jurisdictions, right? So that's also a very bullish factor. Clem, if people are interested in learning more, they can find you on Forbes, and also you have your anewfn.com website and your YouTube channel. What will people find at those places?
Well, I've just started a YouTube channel, inspired by channels like yours, Elijah. I get a lot of fun from ranting on like this, and people seem to enjoy it. So my YouTube is Clem Chambers. You just search Clem Chambers, it'll pop up. And Clem Chambers Alpha is the official name of the YouTube channel. And people seem to be enjoying it, lapping it up. And a new FN is a stock market information. So currently it's only I say, but it's got UK prices and UK tools. But coming soon will be the American markets, and there'll be a good old crypto will be on there as well. So and you can talk to me there, because I've got a section where you can just have a chat. And so that's an informational site. They can find me, and they can read my regular pieces on Forbes going back like almost 30 years. So you can actually, if you can do your Googling, you can actually see me making predictions that did come true. And I haven't got it wrong very often in those 25 years, remarkably so. So I'm a very lucky man when it comes to my predictions. And if, at the end of the day, what I say is not advice. It's raw material for your own research. And, if you can find somebody that makes predictions that, like I have with you on this channel, come very right. You'll hear me talk about Intel months ago before it exploded, and I was writing about it on Forbes in January before it all went mad. And the reason it went mad now was exactly the reasons I put forward back then. So, you can benchmark me and go, he's a very lucky man when it comes to his predictions. I might take some notice, or I might put that in my stack of ideas to, grind away on. And, that's what I enjoy, throwing out ideas for people to think about, to grind on, to see if it can help them in their investment strategies.
Fantastic. Well, Clem, we really appreciate your time today. As always, thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you, Elijah. See you again soon.
This is Kaiser Johnson with Liberty and Finance, and these are the Miles Franklin Weekly Specials for October 13th through October 20th, 2025, while supplies last. First this week, 100-ounce silver Engelhard bars are just $2.70 over spot per ounce. Next, backdated 1-ounce gold Britannia are only $75 over spot. Finally, BU pre-33 $20 gold St. Gaudens coins are just $85 over melt. To order our specials or any of the many other options we have available, call us at 1-888-81-LIBERTY. That's 1-888-815-4237. We're available after hours and on weekends, and we look forward to speaking with you.